Hi everyone. Sorry I'm running a little bit late today, but I will explain all. So for anyone who's seen me in the last couple of days, you'll understand why I'm running a little bit late and everything's taking 3 times longer today than it normally does. And the reason is this. I don't know whether you guys can see that or not, but trust me, it kind of looks worse than it is at the moment, or at least I hope it does. So I was competing in a CrossFit comp on the weekend, and with very little time to go, hi Tammy, with very little time to go in the last workout, I landed awkwardly and buckled on my knee, and it was fairly painful at the time, but it's feeling heaps better, and the brace is really a precaution. Hi Shannon. And I just thought I'd share it with you today because I've learnt a lot, and probably not so much, they're not new things to me, they're things that I tell my clients all the time, but golly, hi Chris, they're things that I suppose I probably haven't learnt personally. So I just thought I'd share them with you today so that you can learn them from me rather than doing an injury and learning them yourself. So one thing, hi Tanya, so yeah, make sure when you jump on, say hi, give me a wave, give me some love, I'm needing some love today. So yeah, one of the things that I noticed really early on was probably my knowledge kind of got in the way a little bit, and at the point where I actually surrendered to the people who were there to help me and let them do their job, that was really helpful, rather than me trying to second guess it and actually sort of figure out what was wrong. So I initially thought the injury was much worse than it was, and yeah, so hopefully we've just done some cartilage damage or some cartilage bruising and no ligament damage at all, whereas I initially had thought I'd done my ACL, which would have been pretty devastating. So I kind of went through that. If anyone watched the video from last week about grief and acceptance, probably a good one to go back to, probably a good one for me to go back and watch. But I sort of felt like I passed through that fairly quickly, and for anyone who was there on the weekend would know that I had a huge breakdown and got pretty upset, but I just let myself get upset. And you know, probably a lesson for anyone who's going through an injury, particularly one that looks like it might limit life or limit the things that you do. It's actually completely okay to be upset about that, and just let yourself be upset. Throw yourself a pity party, make sure you have fun at it, get it all out and then move on, okay? Because once you've gone through that grief reaction, you can actually get to the point of acceptance, and I feel like I've kind of got there. I've, occasionally over the last couple of days have sort of fallen back into, feeling a bit sorry for myself and, why me and all of those kind of things, and questioned it. But once you've reached that point of acceptance, it's really easy to bounce back to that point again. So I sort of feel like I've got to the point where I'm like, well, it is what it is. We'll deal with whatever it is. Yeah? And so that then brings me to what happens when, I fall back into those feelings again. And a lot of it is guilt, of feeling a bit, hi Jamie, feeling a bit stupid. Yeah, I'm a physio. I've been a physio for nearly 19 years. Why didn't I stop? I actually felt it going and I didn't stop. So I keep thinking about what would I tell a client who had come to me with the same problem? What would I tell them? And the big thing I always tell people is it's only stupid if you do it twice. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever been in this situation where in a competition, feeling something like an injury starting to happen and not stopping. So I'm not going to wallow in that guilt and make myself feel bad about it. I didn't stop, accept that I didn't stop. I've done an injury, move on. Yeah, it's only stupid if you do it twice. If I'm ever in that situation again and I keep doing the same thing, then I can feel guilty and then I can feel stupid. Yeah. So I suppose that's, should I have stopped? I've questioned myself so many times over the last couple of days as whether should I have stopped or not? Did I do the wrong thing by keeping going? Look, at the end of the day, I'll never know the answer to that question. So it's actually no point me continuing to question that. I don't know. So don't feel guilty about it. Move on. get on with the rehab. I was definitely pushing my limits on the weekend, and I suppose now I'm just really, really focusing on, okay, that was the time to push my limits, and now is not the time. So in rehab is not the time to push your limits. In rehab is the time to be really, really sensible about things, make sure that we're we're doing things slowly, we're doing things cautiously, but we're also not going back in the opposite direction of being mega, mega cautious, and not getting to the point of our limit, not pushing past them. I hope that makes sense. So in rehab, get to your limit, don't push past it. When you're competing, when you're playing a sport, definitely that's the time to sort of push past your limit. So they're the things that I've learned over the last couple of days. And probably the last thing is I've been asked more times than I can count in the last 2 days if I'm going to go and get a scan. And please, if you ever have an injury, I would always invite anyone to call me, message me and ask that question, because scans are not the be all and end all of everything. So my general rule of thumb is if a scan is not going to change the way that I treat an injury, including my own, then I'm not going to go get the scan. So at the moment, I'm wearing the brace part-time, I am taking it easy, I'm taking some anti-inflammatories, I'm really just kind of babying through. I went to the gym this morning, I did some really gentle sort of rehabby stuff around my hip, around my knee, and just really taking it easy. Whatever the damage is wouldn't have changed what I did this morning, so there's no point getting a scan. But if by tomorrow things are not improving as much as they have today, then that might be where I actually go and pursue, getting another assessment and getting a scan. So please don't run off and get a scan. If you have injuries, they're not the be all and end all. Sometimes they actually find things that are, I suppose, almost worse than what we think, and actually have nothing to do with the injury whatsoever. So I invite anyone who's listening live, anyone who's listening later on, and anyone that you always message me, tell me what the situation was, tell me what you're currently doing. Is a scan going to change that? Most of the time it's not. So scans are really there to assess whether we need to be cautious of something. So things like fractures, nerve injuries, things like that. We just need to know whether we need to be cautious, and that is obviously going to change our treatment, or give us some direction if it's a bit of a tricky injury and we don't know what's going on and I'm a bit puzzled how to treat it. So just keep that in mind. So they're the big things that I've learnt from this weekend. And I'm just really, really grateful for everyone around me who's kind of chipped in and helped and offered help. It's been really fabulous. It's going to be hopefully a very short road to recovery. So thanks for tuning in today, guys. Hope your week's going fabulous. Just a little short note, don't forget I'm actually away Thursday and Friday of this week, so I'm not available at the clinic. I've actually got a pre-planned conference up at the Gold Coast, so there's going to be lots of sitting on the beach and being good. Maybe go for a bit of a swim at the beach and get off my knee. So I'm not at the clinic Thursday and Friday of this week. Today's my last day at the clinic, and then I'm back on Monday. So if you do need me, I'm still available on my phone, so probably text rather than call, Facebook message, or remember you can always jump online to make an appointment at clearphysiotherapy.com.au. Hi Penny. Clearphysiotherapy.com.au. Click on the book online button and on the menu and click through and make an appointment. Just a few clicks, put in your details. Nice and easy process. So if you do need an appointment, probably easiest and quickest to do that than wait for me to get back to you. Otherwise, if you need me, message on text or message on Facebook. So that's all from me today. So thanks for tuning in, and I will speak to you all next Tuesday, hopefully looking slightly browner than I do now after spending a couple of days up the Gold Coast. So speak to you all soon. Bye.